Hey guys, I wanted to talk to you today about phase diagrams, which is a concept we've been covering in biochemistry, as well as the concept of grit, one of the skills that I think underlines success not only in this course, but just kind of in life in general. So, quick review. Phase diagrams, right? Here's a simple phase diagram of water. My face is kind of cutting out the part of the title here, but if you recall, phase diagrams show two variables, pressure and temperature, and their effect on any type of matter's state, right? Is it a solid, liquid, or gas? So as the temperature goes up, an object is more likely to either turn into a gas or go from a solid to a liquid. And then as the temperature continues to increase into a gas, or maybe pressure becomes a variable. But anyway, all of these have a significant impact on the behavior of matter. So here's phase diagram or effective phase changes on water, right? So if we take solid water, this ice right here, and it warms up, the temperature increases from solid, and the temperature increases and the pressure stays the same as it does on the Earth, on the surface of the Earth at least. Or at least relatively stable, but it will move from a solid to a liquid, in which case large chunks of that ice might start to break off or calve and fall into the ocean. Big impact, right? And then down here we see a little gif of a geyser. So a geyser is water underground. It's under a great deal of pressure. And its temperature is also very high. So it is a liquid, because the pressure is high and the temperature is high. But as that water starts to move up to the surface, the pressure drops and it phase changes from a liquid to a gas. And then that gas, which takes up a lot more space, forces itself out of the ground, and you get the eruption of a geyser, which is mostly steam, gaseous water, and then the liquid that kind of got pushed along with it. So big impacts, right, from phase changes. Well, so how do I apply this to the concept of new experiences and grit? So in this class, I give you all kinds of new experiences, different kinds of challenges, right? So I'd like you to consider challenge to be one of the variables in any new experience, right? As well as your confidence. How confident are you that you can be successful at that new experience? And so you'll see on this phase diagram that when somebody's confidence is very low, even if the challenge is low, they may not be successful, and so on. So learning is our first idea, right? Learning occurs here, right? When confidence is moderate to high and the challenge is also moderate to high. But what if we have a lot of confidence, but the challenge is really low? What if the task or the experience is very easy? Maybe we haven't done it before, but we are very confident that we're going to be successful at it. What do we experience then? What if our confidence is high and the challenge is also very high, right? Or our confidence is lower and we have low confidence in our ability and the challenge continues to increase. I know some of you have experienced this in this class. What happens then? So where would you put boredom? You disappear boredom from over here on this side. Where do you think boredom is? Put boredom right there. A lot of confidence, very little challenge. When you experience that, it's boring. The new experience itself isn't challenging. You have a lot of confidence in your success. That's going to be a boring experience. And then, so of course, frustration is the opposite, right? So when the challenge gets too high to match your confidence, you become frustrated and you might give up and you have failure. So I know you're asking, what does this have to do with grit, right? Well, where is grit on here? We don't see grit. Right? It's not one of the ways we might approach. But what grit is when you feel confident that you have the skills, the resiliency, and you keep pushing yourself even in the face of challenge. So where does that put you on here, right? It's definitely going to be in the zone of learning. We rarely experience the need for grit when we're bored. And by the time we're frustrated or failing, grit doesn't matter. The challenge is too high. We haven't been able to exercise grit and face that challenge. But somewhere up here in the top is where I want you to seek to be. Because in that spot, your challenge level, you have pushed the amount that you are able to do as far as you can go, and you are experiencing a feeling of confidence that you have the skills to meet that challenge. And if that challenge gets a little harder, you have confidence, you believe, you have tenacity to push forward even in the face of that challenge. That is where grit gives you the greatest advantage. And what grit does over the course of this class or over your lifetime is it pushes that level of challenge. So where this line starts to go vertical, where there is a challenge level that no matter how confident you are, you cannot succeed, it pushes that line farther and farther to the right, but only when you are in this most far right corner of the learning area where you really have to exercise grit, which is why I'm going to be pushing you guys in this class to experience failure, experience frustration, so you can figure out where this line is, as well as figuring out the strategies that will make you confident to push past that failure and move this line, widen the area that represents learning for you when it comes to new experiences. So I hope that makes sense, trying to connect it to something that we understand in this class. And we'll be talking more about this during the course.